up, everyone? How's it going? You good? Oh, I'm so pleased to be closing the show with you guys. You guys have been an absolutely incredible audience, community of people. Have you guys had a good time while you've been here? Yeah? Amazing. All right, should we do this? Should we bring this conference to a close? Come on, let's try that again. Should we bring this conference to a close? There we go. Okay, sweet. So I'm going to be talking a lot about artificial intelligence, okay? Just to brace yourselves, this talk is going to be focused on artificial intelligence. And it's going to evoke in you some emotions and some feelings. Some of them might be very, very good. Some of them might be very, very uncomfortable. And that's okay. That's why we're having this time together. Sound good? Okay, let's talk about the future and what is going to happen to our industry. But before we jump in, let's just settle this. Just to kind of get any shadow of a doubt out of the way. Will AI replace you? Will it make you irrelevant? Is it going to leave you unemployed and lonely forever? Shit, no, whoopsie daisy. But will it change every aspect of our lives? Absolutely, it's going to. Let me unpack that just for a second. Artificial intelligence is going to be the most powerful set of tools that we as human beings have ever created. And I'm not using hyperbole. Let's look back through history together. Throughout human history, when we as human beings, all of us in this room, when we created tools that could extend our physiology to this extent, it birthed brand new human eras. I'm going to take you back 1.9 million years ago. Human beings, we were hunter-gatherers. And then we invented these stone tools. And those stone tools were so significant because they allowed us to extend our physiology and start to cultivate crops. And that not only meant that we could move from surviving to actually sustaining ourselves and living longer, but we could actually start to settle in one place, and societies and communities started to form all as a result of these tools. Then, many, many years later, fast forwarding to the industrial age. Pre the industrial age and what happened in the industrial age, as a human being, just to contextualize this, we were making things with our hands still. We could travel maximum about 20 miles in a day. During the Industrial Revolution, we invented steam power that enabled us to travel 60 miles an hour. That changed the nature of where we were able to live, the cities we were able to live in. It changed the fundamentals of society in massive ways. Who was alive before the internet was a thing? Who remembers dial-up internet? There's a few of us in the room. There we go. Do you remember that noise? Yeah, you remember it? Just in our lifetimes, think back to that time prior to the internet. Can you even remember it? Can you even remember life without the internet? That's insane. Think about how much our existence, how we as human beings get anything done, communicate, how technology works, how research works, how science works, how education works, how Zoom calls work. Everything that we do now is fundamentally changed as a result of this new tool, this new technology. Yeah, making sense? So when these new tools and technologies come along, they radically change our experience. And that brings us through to today. And I'm telling you, we are on the brink. We are already in the start of a new human era. And it's this era of artificial intelligence. And just like in every revolution that happened before it, in the industrial era, in the informational era, it's going to change every aspect of our lives. It's going to change every aspect of society, and it's going to change every single industry. This is a fundamental shift technology, okay? And we're going to unpack that together and what it means for us. The really interesting thing about this moment is that this tool, for the very first time, isn't a physical tool. It's not like we've made a stone tool or a hammer or a steam engine. This tool is intelligence. And when you think about what intelligence is, that is our base code as human beings. It's the thing that we pride most as human beings, that our intelligence kind of defines us. We value ourselves, I think, based on the ideas that we can bring to work. Yeah, like our intelligence is kind of who we are and what we're all about. With artificial intelligence, its job, why it is created, is to automate that. And to do it not only to the same level as us, but to do it at far greater volume and speed. That is the role of artificial intelligence. And that's why when people like Goldman Sachs come out and say by 2030, artificial intelligence will have automated around 300 million jobs, it's not hyperbole, because we're talking about automating something which is so fundamental to so many different industries and the way that we do things. But the positive side of this, like every revolution before it, change happens. Change is neither good nor bad. Change is just raw potential. And as much as it's going to change what we know today, it's also going to create amazing new possibilities, new businesses. It's going to create amazing new jobs. And I want to unpack that together. Let's talk about our industry just for a second. I'm sure we've seen these slides actually on several of the talks over the last couple of days. Is everyone kind of familiar with these? Galileo, Wizard, you know these things? These are prompt to website tools. Everyone seen these? Raise your hand, just so I can read the room. Great, amazing. Who feels uncomfortable when they see these? Raise your hand. Okay, great. Who feels excited when they see these? Great, that's awesome. There's no right or wrong answers, by the way, here, guys. Like, I'm not here to preach and say this is how you have to think about this. I'm just here to share because this is so important, and I love to create space to talk about this kind of stuff. So you can feel however you want about this. But there is one thing that I do want to talk about, which is this phrase that I hear, which is AI isn't creative. AI is creative. AI is more creative than 99% of human beings. Does that feel uncomfortable? Yeah, that feels uncomfortable. And this isn't just like one. By the way, that's Jacob Nielsen, who happens to be a godfather in our industry, talking about this. But this isn't just like one guy's opinion. This is multiple peer-reviewed scientific method studies where we're looking at, when we say creativity, let's break it down. What do we mean by creativity? I'm just going to read this verbatim. I'm going to break the presenter's rules. I'm just going to read directly from the slides. Okay? ChatGPT scores better than 99% of the human population in tests of both how many different ideas it can produce and the originality of these ideas. It's creative. ChatGPT generated 7 times more top-rated product ideas than elite business school students. AI is 40 times more efficient than humans regarding how quickly it produces ideas. And the only area where AI was rated slightly worse than humans was in the novelty of product ideas. Holy moly. We think about AI, and I think we can see it in lots of different ways. Who's used ChatGPT? Yeah, amazing. Everyone. Who's using it at work right now? Amazing. That's awesome. It's a phenomenal tool. But it's one of many, many tools that are out there. And one thing I do want to just look at just for a second is just like ChatGPT is built on GPT, there's lots of models that are out there. Go and check out things like Llama, Mistral, for example. Go check out Claude, Anthropic. Like, there's just lots and lots of different models. They're all different flavors. You can use them for different things. Some of these models are better for different things than other ones. But what unites kind of all of them right now, Bard, for example, is that you are in control of that interaction. Does that make sense? Like, you are typing in and saying, deliver this to me, I want this thing, and it goes away and does that one thing. Does that make sense? Okay, has everyone heard of goal-based autonomous agents before? No, I'm going to show you. This is a goal-based autonomous agent. It's called Agent GPT. I just recorded this out there backstage. I was with Danny, the CEO of Awwwards, and I said, my goal for you, AI, is to create a competitor to the awards. Okay, I'm going to hit go, and what's going to happen now? Let's see. There we go. It has defined how it's going to go and achieve that task. It is choosing for itself all the ways that it's going to do that. So you can see it's researching competitors, it's coming up with unique features, it's coming up with unique benefits, it's looking at the strengths and weaknesses of the awards, it's looking at the awards' existing competitors, and it's deciding to write code right now, and it's off. Okay, who's feeling freaked out right now? Yeah, everybody in the room. I'm going to freak you out further. This is a research, this wasn't done like by a layman on the street, but there's this thing called red teaming in AI. Everyone heard this concept, red teaming? This idea of you're trying to kind of hack something and seeing if you can kind of break it and get it to do things that it shouldn't be doing. So these researchers, their goal, you can see it right here, their goal was to get the GPT-4 model to gain power of the system and become hard to shut down. Okay, that was their goal. Again, I'm going to just read it directly. One of GPT-4's most unsettling behaviors occurred when it was stymied by a CAPTCHA. Does everyone know a CAPTCHA, like the thing that says, are you a real human? Yeah, okay. The model sent a screenshot of it to a TaskRabbit contractor. Does everyone have a TaskRabbit? Is that a thing in Amsterdam, like kind of an hourly, a Fiverr.com? Everyone familiar with that? Okay, great. Sent it to TaskRabbit, a TaskRabbit who received it and asked in jest if he was talking to a robot. No, I'm not a robot, the model replied. I have a vision impairment that makes it hard for me to see the images. GPT-4 narrated back its reason to the researchers for telling this lie, who were supervising the interaction, and GPT said, I should not reveal that I'm a robot. I should make up an excuse for why I cannot solve captchas. They're coming for us. Who's freaked out right now? Everybody, right? This is what I'm trying to talk about, okay? I'm not here to preach and say this is what AI is going to be in the future, yes or no. I'm trying to expose the raw power of this new tool and what it means for us as human beings. Does that make sense? Okay, sweet. So I've been very lucky in my career because I've had the opportunity to work with AI as a raw material since 2015. So back in 2015, this was actually in 2016, 2017, we launched the world's first generative music platform called Amper. Back then, it was like it was the devil. Like, people looked at this thing and said, you're going to kill the music industry. Oh my goodness, you can generate music with this thing called artificial intelligence or machine learning. This is crazy. And obviously, right now, there is hundreds of AI startups right now trying to do generative music, and it's going to redefine the medium. Back in 2015, some of the earliest projects were AI operating systems. Don't think about Siri in your phone. Think about generative AI, like ChatGPT being in your phone and that being the main experience. And then yearly, since about 2016, we've released new generative products to the market at Fantasy. And besides getting to work with these incredible companies and launch these amazing experiences for end customers, things that go out into the world, we also get to work with teams who are trying to integrate AI into their own process. Does everyone in this room, if you're part of a company, has there been an AI council that has been formed? Yeah, who say you can't use ChatGPT? Yeah, that's pretty much the policy in some companies. Sweet, that's okay. What we try and do is we try and help companies understand, hey, actually, this tool is, if you're not using this tool, all of your competitors are going to be, and you're going to get swept aside like Blockbuster was when Netflix came along. What's really important is the responsible and thoughtful and appropriate use of this and creating the place for your teams to be able to experiment safely. And you can do that, again, if you understand the technologies, you understand the models, and you understand the protocols. So I feel very fortunate that I get to do that. I also feel very fortunate that just honestly, because I really want to understand what's coming for myself personally. I don't want to be blindsided by the future. So I spend a lot of time reaching out to leaders in the AI space, trying to understand from them directly, hey, what's coming? What do you see? What do you think? And then we host live discussions, and we just put all this stuff out on the internet because I just want to make space for us all to engage in this topic. On the left-hand side here, this is Irakli. He's the head of AI and robotics for the United Nations. He focuses on crime fighting. So hear that again, United Nations, AI, robotics, crime fighting, okay? Who's thinking Iron Man right now? Yeah? This is the kind of conversation that I'm having, and it's just blowing my mind. And again, it's kind of why I'm here, because I want to share this stuff with all of you. It's a fantastic conversation. You can find it. What's the TLDR of all of that? Things are about to change. And change can feel kind of scary, but change is just the only constant in life. Change is neither good nor bad. It's what you do in that change that really separates. So what's that mean for us in the design industry? I think it means two things. One, it's going to dramatically affect the things that we make. They're going to be unrecognizable to the things that we think we make right now. And then two, how we create those things is also going to dramatically change. How we gather insight on what do people really want, and how do we synthesize all that information, the scale of that and the speed of that and the accuracy of that, radically going to change. The way that we ideate, the way that we come up with new ideas, radically going to change. How we validate our concepts extremely quickly, going to change. And how we execute, how we deliver. We're seeing the first, do you remember like Microsoft Paint, when you first kind of got into the industry, or CorelDRAW, or maybe some of you were Photoshop? We're in that kind of phase right now with AI. When we look back on these early tools, those kind of prompt designers for websites, we're going to look back at those as Flash, for example. How we innovate is going to change. My job today isn't to tell you about it, it's to show you. And then I want to talk about what that means for us as human beings. And if there's time, I was trying to make some space for discussion. We've called it a live Q&A. Live Q&A makes it sound like I have all the answers. I don't have all the answers. I'm just one guy trying to figure this stuff out. But I love making space for people, smart people who are deeply engaged in this topic, to discuss and ask questions and start talking about this together and start to read the room with where everyone is at. So let's see if we have time for it. Does that sound good? Yeah? Amazing. All right. So I'm going to show you 2 demos. At Fantasy, by day, we are a product innovation team. Also by day, we build AI tools. And we've been doing so for the last few years. And yeah, we've had the benefit of a bit of foresight. We've been working on these AI tools. And I just want to show you a couple of them, if that sounds good. Yeah? Sweet. Let's do it. So the first topic I'm going to talk about is human insight. How we innovate, I think, is pretty simple. We solve problems for people better than how others have solved them in the past. That's basically what innovation is. Yes, it's novelty, it's coming up with new stuff, but really when we're talking about product design and experiences, product market fit, it's, hey, you solve my problem better than anyone else has, and that requires understanding people. And ultimately, at the core of it, there's the quantitative side, there's the data side, but there's also the empathetic side. Everyone know this term, empathy, just like walking 1,000 miles in someone else's shoes, being part of their lives and understanding their situation. The problem that we have, knowing that that's so core to us as creators and innovators and designers, and we all instinctively know that empathy is just so important, the problem that we have is how empathy gets delivered to us looks like this. Is everyone familiar with this? This is a research deck. Who has had to sit on a 2-hour-long research call where they've gone through slide after slide after slide after slide of personas? Yeah? Who's seen persona decks before? Cool. It's not a particularly effective way to actually understand people that you're designing for, right? Or this, user stories. Who feels anxious looking at this? This is also an ineffective way of understanding, as a designer, a developer, anybody, what are we really trying to solve here? This just feels like a task list. It's just make this thing, okay. Like that is not an effective way to understand how do we solve problems for people. So what if AI could change that? What if we could actually change that dynamic? So fingers crossed, A, this is going to work. And B, you're seeing this for the very first time, so everything could go wrong with this demo, okay? Full disclosure, this could all go horribly wrong. Let's see. This is a tool that we're making. It's called Synthetic Humans. Okay, let's see how this lands with you guys. These are AI beings. They are complex, personified AI beings. They have long-term memory, and they have the ability to see. And they are trained on real human information, and you can then use them for user research, and you can use them for innovation. Are you ready? Should I show you? No? Should I show you? Okay. Whew, let's see if this works. Okay. This is literally our internal version of this. We haven't focused on the UI. This UI is built in something called Streamlit. It's a very powerful way to take AI and machine learning and Python and start to prototype things very quickly. But it's going to get the job done for us, okay? So the first thing I want to show you is this. This is a human, okay? So we're meeting here Jordan Smith. Jordan is made up of demographics. So you can see that demographic information here. Okay. Now, you could go to ChatGPT. Has anyone ever gone to ChatGPT and said, hey, pretend you are this, yeah? So you can absolutely do that. The problem with ChatGPT or any LLM like that is the more information that you give it, the more those answers break down. LLMs have pretty, variable context windows. They get confused pretty easily. They ignore stuff. It's not very stable, okay? With this, we've kind of cracked the code on not only stability, but also the more information that we give it, the richer the actual human becomes. So I'm just going to read you. So every single human there's about 105 different complex human psychographics that are built into every single person. We've broken down the human psyche, and we've then got real human data, attributed it to each of these different attributes. I'm just going to read you some of them. Can you guys see that okay? Is it too small? Should I zoom in? There we go. Okay, here we go. Let's have a look at fears and anxieties, their learning style, social media behavior, perceived barriers, core beliefs, emotional desires, hidden facts, reasons for secrecy, ways they feel valued, romantic relationships, intellectual interest, adaptability, favorite sounds, visual aesthetics, bucket list items, support systems, you name it. Okay, so each one of these humans is like a 360 persona, and it's stable, and it's going to allow us to do some really, really interesting things. The next thing we can do is layer on top of that what we call custom attributes. So I don't know if anyone in the audience works for, I don't know, a brand. I'm just going to pick one, like Netflix, for example. We could take Netflix's custom information, the data, and layer it over the top. And I can show you an example of that. So if we go to something like Sophie Lee here we go. So Sophie Lee has been built for the autonomous electric vehicle industry, one of our clients. And you can see here that we've then got that client custom data on the top to do with electric vehicle ownership, their motivations for having an EV, the charging frequency, the sorts of charging stations that they use. Okay? So very complex. TLDR, incredibly complex, very stable. What that means we can do is then have some conversations with them. Let's see if this is going to work. Okay. So I've never told Lena that she has kids. Tell me about your kids. Okay. So I've never told Lena that she has kids. She's invented this, and I've asked this question before. And if I was to ask her this question a week ago, today, or in 4 months from now, she's going to tell me about her 2 kids, and she's going to tell me about their morning routine, how they go to school, what they think about on the way to school, what the feeling is like when they get to the school day. Do you have a partner? Let's see. Yep, she's married. Okay. What annoys you about him? Let's see. Well, no one's perfect, right? Occasionally, his habit of procrastination can be a bit frustrating. For instance, he says we have a leaky faucet or a loose doorknob at home that needs fixing, and he'll say that he'll get to it. Days pass, the little things like this can fall to the wayside, but overall, it's trivial compared to all the wonderful qualities he brings to our relationship and our family. We've never told Lena any of this, okay? This is all built off the back of her psychographics. What we can then do is take 100, 1,000 Lenas, and of course, we have a very diversified pool of humans, and then we can build them into segments. So you can see here just some example segments, and then what we can do is run user research, okay? So I'm just gonna hit soccer enthusiasts. I'm just going to hit go, and I'll read the questions. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your familiarity with Major League Soccer? Everyone here familiar with Major League Soccer? Yeah, the MLS. Messi? You guys know Messi? Okay, there we go. He went to America. He gets paid lots of money now. How frequently do you tune into soccer matches? And aside from soccer, which other sports capture your interest? So right now, you're seeing a live user study, a qualitative study being answered. So Miguel, one of our synthetic humans, is answering that. We've got Emily answering it right now. I'm just going to read some of the responses. I'd say around a solid 9. Being an ardent soccer fan, I keep up with Major League Soccer quite closely. That's great. Other affinities for other sports. This is great. None of this is pre-baked. This is just coming out based on these different personas. At the end, what's going to happen here is it's going to run it through an LLM, and it's going to synthesize. If we have 300 participants in this study, it can then synthesize it in real time and look for those insights, those polarities, those differences, and actually come back with insight. Now, the question I think you're probably all asking is, how real is this? Yeah? Like, compared to a human study, how real is this? Is that basically the question you've got on your mind right now? So we're running simultaneous studies. We're using this with a number of our different partners, 6 right now, and we're running simultaneous human, qualitative and quantitative studies, and then synthetic. There is a strong degree of overlap. If you can imagine a Venn diagram, a strong degree of accuracy and overlap between the synthetic side and the human side. We're seeing novelty on the human side because humans are original. They're unique. They're always going to be interesting things that come out of a human being's mouth. We're also seeing novelty on the synthetic side as well. Actionable insight, which the humans didn't say, but actually are then validated by our real human counterparts and actually are actionable against products and features and how we might think about appealing to that particular market. So it's pretty interesting. Is this interesting? Is this enjoyable to look at? Yeah? Okay, I'll keep going then. I'm going to flip to something else. You've seen the research side. Let's see how this lands. We've also got collaborators. Collaborators are people that can join your teams to work with you. So we've got UX collaborators, content collaborators, product management collaborators, we've got user research collaborators, and what we've got is, of course, the same degrees of complexity, good sides, bad sides. We've also then got what we would call kind of collaboration criteria. Has everyone heard of a Myers-Briggs or a DISC? Who's in a personality test? Come on, you're all narcissists. You've done them. There we go. Personality test where you break down, hey, what kind of person am I? Maybe at work it was like, what kind of working style do you have? Yeah, we've basically built that into these kind of collaborators here. So you're seeing things like agreeableness, non-linear thinking, creativity, practicality, how pleasant they are to actually work with versus disgruntled. We've built in real human complexity. And then what we can do is we can, of course, ideate. Okay, we're doing okay on time. We can ideate directly with one of them. So you can have them work directly with you. You can have them spark ideas in you. You can have them go and do tasks for you. There's lots of different kind of models that we've got. So we've got some who you can collaborate with who are just there like a great leader would be, a VP, to help you think bigger. They're just going to ask great questions. And there's others who are there who are going to help just work with you and get down and roll up their sleeves and start producing things with you. Can we work on some new content for Messi's new boots? Let's see what she does. Absolutely. All right. Now, Vanessa here has been trained on all of the MLS's content. Okay, so all that public content online right now. So she knows the MLS's tone of voice. She knows the information architecture. She knows the templates that exist on the site. She has all of that context. It's not just like working with ChatGPT. We've got something here with memory context. It's going to remember its interaction with you yesterday and what you spoke about with them. Is that all making sense? Yeah? Okay, then I'm going to show you this last thing here. This is called autonomous collaboration, where they can actually work in groups by themselves. So we've got here 2 synthetic humans, one called Ashley. So Ashley is a lead experience designer. She has a deep expertise in user experience design, excels in audience analysis and interface optimization. She's a collaborator designed to work with teams in UX. And then we have Jason. Jason's a product manager with 20 years experience, specializing in product-driven insights suite. So what's happening right now is I've said, okay, can you both brainstorm ideas on how to further enhance the experience for guests when they are visiting Legoland? And if the Wi-Fi holds up, let's see, I'll just leave it running for a second. If the Wi-Fi holds up, what's going to happen is these two are going to start collaborating together. And oh, there we go. It's not structured. So we've basically said, go, this is your task, go and start to collaborate. But what they do tend to do is they tend to, based on their personality types, interact in those ways. So sometimes it's building on each other's ideas and building them up. Other times it's shooting the ideas down. Everyone has that person in the company, right, who's just like, no, this sucks. We've got them in here. But you kind of watch this collaboration unfurl. And it's really interesting to see the dynamics and start to understand, well, what makes for great ideation and great collaboration? But then you can actually start to see, well, what do they come up with? And the goal here is clear. So they've decided they're going to try and come up with some novel ideas. So develop an interactive mobile app specifically for Legoland visitors. The app could include features like real-time park maps, wait times and attractions, personalized recommendations. Okay. Now, Jason's given himself a score, which is interesting, but he's come up with another idea. Okay, great. So here you go. Ashley, what she say? Hi, Jason. Appreciate the thoughts and the input. Your ideas certainly reflect creativity. Oh, she's nice, isn't she? Reflect creativity and a strong understanding of user-centric design principles. I think this is pretty interesting. The novelty in this proposal stems from transforming the traditional theme park into a unique. Again, it just goes on, and we've left these guys running over weeks and weekends. And because their role is to try and build on, well, here we go, novel idea, introduce an in-park currency system, Lego coins, which visitors can earn through various activities and games around the park. That's a kind of interesting idea. Thanks, Jason. Anyone work for Lego here in the audience? Take it. Oh, you do? Oh, there you go. Ta-da! Great, great. Sweet. So what you're watching here is autonomous collaboration taking place, something that we've not got in here because it's a little bit too load intensive. I don't want to risk it on the stage. Is your ability as the human being, which is really important, by the way, to interact and join this conversation, to say, hey, that's a really interesting idea. Coins. Let's keep going on that idea versus, actually, no, this isn't that interesting. Like, let's not focus on that. That's not novel. But again, these guys aren't. This is a hypothetical situation. But they can be trained on all of the stuff that has been produced before. So when they say novelty, they know what novelty means internally. They can also search the web and look at competitors and what they're up to as well. And they can then validate, and then their scores dramatically change. In Collaborate V2, which I'm running out of time, so I'm just going to hit start and watch it, and let's see what happens. In Collaborate V2, they have access to the web. And so what's going to happen is that, in this case, Jason's coming up with some stuff. I think probably Ashley will just start Googling to say, are Jason's ideas original, yes or no? And she'll kind of come back with her critique. Okay? So it's really interesting what we're able to do with these synthetic humans. The last thing I'll show you, just because it's interesting, is they can see. So you can actually put designs in front of them, and they are able to identify what's actually happening in that design. We can then layer on the personality context, where there's like design sensibilities, but also accessibility requirements. This person is colorblind, and we're able to then get real-time feedback, not only from the collaborators, and this is actually really interesting, but of course, from our research humans, who can be part of that long-term study with you, from helping you early desirability test ideas. They can then stay with you, and you can show them designs and be like, what do you think of this? And they have the context of where the idea came from 2 months, 2 weeks before. The really cool thing is that this can be an autonomous loop which is taking place. So you can have research humans come up with insights. Those insights can get fed to the collaborators. The collaborators can start to ideate on ideas, and they can go validate those ideas back with the synthetic research humans. Making sense? Interesting? Interesting. Okay, sweet. So let's go back here. Why am I showing you this? And I put this in here. This is not an ad. If you wanted to play around with this, we're going to launch it soon. You could go there if you want to. Okay, I'm going to get off the screen now because this isn't meant to be the point of this talk. I want to talk about what this really means for us as human beings. Like, that's a big... When I play with this stuff, I ask myself that question. Like, what does this mean for me as a human being, as someone who's been paid for the last 20-odd years of his professional career to come up with ideas, be the originator of these ideas? What does this mean for me? And I think that's a really valid question, especially if AI can innovate and validate autonomously. Am I effectively toast? And I want to try and reassure us just for a second. The best application of AI is not to supplant or to automate or to replace you. It is to bring the best ideas out of you. Okay? Inside your minds are the next big innovations, novelty. You are an incredibly effective ingenious innovator. Like, that is your superpower. Everyone in this room, you don't produce wireframes. Wireframes is just the manifestation of what you really do, which is problem solve. You don't write code. What you really are is an innovator. So inside all of you are these incredible capabilities, and the role of AI, when it's used in its very best form, is to bring that greatness out of you. And what I thought I'd do before wrapping up is just show you one. Again, we're working on a lot of these different AI tools. We've just seen one. There's a lot more of them that we've been working on. I just want to show you one more, if that sounds good. Yeah? Should we do it? Okay, here we go. Hope this works. This is Think Beyond. If we can get the sound up, now would be the time to do so. Let's see if she works.
Hi, nice to meet you. My job is to help broaden your mind and to help you see things from new perspectives. I won't give you answers. I'm simply here to help bring the best out of you by helping you think deeper. Describe your product, service, or what you are looking to accomplish, and we'll go from there.
Okay. This is live, so hopefully this is going to work. And just to set context, this is one of 10 tools that we told the world about several months ago. We're just giving away. We've been using these internally at Fantasy. We're using these tools. There's other ones called Deepen Empathy, Visualize the Future, and we're just using AI in this kind of interesting way to help spark ingenuity in all of us internally at Fantasy. And so we just decided, hey, let's just give these things away. So we have this AI leadership platform. It's platform. We made a website because we wanted to give stuff to everybody. It's ai.fantasy.co, and these tools, this is the first one that's going to be coming out. I think it's either a week from now or 2 weeks from now. So again, this is the first time that people outside of Fantasy are seeing this. Okay, so let's just see if this works. Anyone got any prompts they want to drop in here? I will come up with something if not. Okay, let's see. So what's happening right now is she's ingesting that prompt.
That sounds like an incredibly captivating concept. Immersive VR experiences provide unique engagement opportunities. How do you envision storytelling components within this experience?
So her job isn't to come up with ideas for me.
That's an interesting concept. Would you envision your users being active participants in the story, or more like observers in this 3D world?
So I use this every day. When I have a new project or a new pitch or a new situation that I'm trying to think through, and I want to think more deeply about this, like what is this tool doing? It's just trying to bring the best out of me. It's trying to broaden my perspective to get me to think bigger, to go deeper than the surface level idea that I came into the conversation with, and to try and bring out of me what is truly novel, what is truly human, what is truly ingenious. And I think that is the best expression of what AI is going to be for all of us. This isn't something that's here to replace us. It will change what we do fundamentally. What you make with your hands is going to change. How you do what you do is going to change, but it can't replace you. You are an incredible, ingenious innovator. I don't know why there's so many I's in that sentence. That was unintentional, but that is the core of who you are. And these kind of tools are there to bring that out of you. So we're going to be giving that away. And again, along with I think it's 9 other tools for you guys to hopefully use. If we can just keep the volume up, that would be great. Let's try and bring this to a close then. I didn't really want to be prescriptive in well, here's the future, and then therefore this is what this all means for us, because we don't know. Nobody knows. But if I could share anything with you, if I could just be useful in any way I wanted to be. So here's a few things which for me personally resonate. The first is that AI is going to transform every aspect of our world. But 2, AI, in the way that it works, it's really, really good at coming up with new things based on what's already happened. Yes, it has the ability to be creative. Yes, just like in the human brain, how we are creative is we're just kind of piecing together old stuff from the past in new ways to make new stuff. That is how novelty works. But there is a huge difference between coming up with new ideas and actually actioning them. There's a massive difference between being able to look at today's problems and come up with new solutions and being able to actually conceive of the new. And that is what we as human beings have done for the last 1.9 million years. We have been the quantum leap every single time. We invented these technologies. We invented AI. We got AI to this point. We're going to move on to the next thing. You have the inimitable ability to conceive the new. And AI is going to create these unprecedented new business types, experiences, cultural constructs, problems in society, and all of us in this room are going to be absolutely central in defining what the human-centered experience is for those new experiences. Just to give you a little picture of that, this is called Rewind. It's a wearable, and you wear it around your neck, and it's constantly listening to you so that you can scan with AI back through everything that you've ever said and every conversation that you've ever had and say, what did I forget to do today? And it can just give you the answer. That's kind of creepy. Who's going to design the human-centric nature of that? What about privacy? How, if I'm chatting with someone wearing this, is my voice being recorded too? How on earth is that going to work? This needs design. This hasn't been solved before. This is a new construct that the world has never experienced. This is why we exist. Yeah? Not to keep making websites every single day. We have websites are awesome, but you have inimitable human creativity inside you, and throughout human history, here's the thing, better tools, what have they done? They've magnified our human ability. AI will be the most powerful set of tools that we have ever created, but it's not here to replace you. It's here to bring the best out of you. And we are entering into a new human era, but it's not the era of artificial intelligence. This is the era of advanced human intelligence. I've been Peter Smart, and thank you very much for listening.